No lies. Like, this is really turning into a lifetime movie. She could really turn this into something because, oh my gosh, a TV show. Oh my gosh, yes.
Part 18 of Surviving Prison. So, like I said, I had no business hitting eggplant up, but I did against my better judgment. I did. But the first thing I did when I hit him up, I'm like, "What's up? Like, why you want to fuck with me now? I didn't hear from you my whole sentence. Like, what's up? You ain't add me on JPay. You ain't put no money on your phone. You didn't even send me $1. And now that I'm out, you want to fuck with me? Nah." So he like, "Oh, I gotta, let me explain. I'm like, okay, I'm listening, because you ain't saying nothing for real. So he basically like, all that was a shock to him. He didn't know what to do. He didn't know that I was scamming. He didn't know, what I was into. So he was just like, kind of confused. So I'm just like, you were confused. Okay, yeah, I didn't tell you what was going on. Cool. But you ain't tell me what the fuck was going on either. You didn't tell me that you were married. You told me you were single. You started living with me. Like, how were you married? I just want to know that. Like, please explain this marriage shit before we even go into why you wasn't there for me. I just need to know the marriage. Like, what was going on? He went into saying, I had done fell in love with you. I was scared to lose you. I knew that if I told you I was married, you wouldn't fuck with me, because we had a conversation before where I asked you, have you ever talked to a married man? You told me no, and that you would never talk to one. So I was scared to lose you. For me, that still didn't sit well with me. It wasn't valid enough for me. So then he goes into say, well, to be honest, we wasn't really together. We were separated. That's why I had to move down and got my own place. I got an apartment. The apartment that you was coming to, that's why I had moved to, because we were separated. But I still deserve to know that you were separated, that you were married, in the marriage, finna get ready to leave your marriage, whatever. I deserve to know that. Then he went on to say that once I had done left or whatever, she pressured him to get back into their marriage, for them to start over, blah blah blah. So that's why, he did try to make it work, being that I was gone and he didn't know what was going to be the outcome with me. I'm pretty sure you checked the website. You knew what was going on. You knew the outcome. I even wrote you a letter and you never responded to that. But what's killing me the most is you're trying to fuck with me now. Like, don't fuck with me when I'm free. When I needed you, you wasn't there for me. So basically, he just was begging me and was asking, like, what can he do to make it up? Y'all know me. Even though I wasn't into him, like, it ain't really nothing you gonna be able to do to make it up to me. But I ain't telling him that. I'm just like, well, we gonna see. I'm gonna see. I took a week or whatever to kind of like get back to him. But you know what you can do? Send the funds. So he ended up sending me a little couple coins or whatever. It wasn't that major. He wanted to come see me. Now, mind y'all, I didn't want him to come see me, because at this point, I wasn't fucking with him, but I knew that if I saw him, I didn't have enough self-control. And I didn't want to get sent back, because we probably would have fucked. So I already knew, what was going on, because to be honest, now that I think about it, that relationship was all about sex. Like, it wasn't nothing, like, we wasn't compatible with nothing else besides sex. So, of course, I didn't allow him to come see me, because I wasn't trying to go down that road. Fast forward, moving along, work release going good or whatever. Christmas time coming up at this point. It's December. Now, my release date was February. It was supposed to be February. I did not get out February. So, just wanted y'all to clock that T. So, like I said, fast forward. I goes to work one day. It's around Christmas time. You know what I'm saying? I'm missing home, missing family or whatever. My cousin ended up coming in town, and she came to my job to see me. That is against the rules. I was going to say the law, but that's against the rules. So, what I was going to say? I'm sorry. So, she wasn't supposed to, but she did, and we ended up, she came up there to chill with me. We ended up drinking and stuff like that, and it was cool. She ended up leaving. Now, I had met another guy, that I told y'all earlier that, I met him at Wingstop. We still cool or whatever. We wasn't like that, like, oh, I want to fuck with you or nothing like that. He was just cool, platonic. He had done brought some Hennessy up there, whatever. We drinking. I mean, having a good time, vibed out, y'all. I knew that they wasn't gonna drug test me or whatever. And alcohol don't stay in your system, but what 24 to 36 hours, something like that. It's not like drugs, like weed or anything. So I was cool on having me a couple drinks or whatever, and I didn't get too messed up where I had to go back in the center and I'm slugged or like my breath smelling like liquor and stuff like that. I didn't get that messed up, but I did tell y'all. Usually I delete everything out my phone, like everything. I don't keep nothing in my phone. But I think the liquor won, y'all. So before I went to bed, I did put my phone in the locker. When I tell y'all the next morning, the whole facility, it was the day after Christmas, they like phone check, phone check, phone check. I'm not thinking nothing of it like, oh, I need to, hurry up and grab my phone, because at this point it was in my locker where it was supposed to be at. Not only was it just in my locker, I didn't delete my messages, y'all. So I got messages in there from my cousin saying she was so happy to see me. She pulled up on me, blah, blah, blah. Then I got messages in there from the fucking nigga, like saying, like, that was what's up. Like, I had a good time with you last night. Your ass went used to drinking. You ain't had a drinking so long. Your ass was finna get fucked up, blah, blah. When we gonna be able to drink again? Oh my God. Why did I delete these messages, y'all? Why didn't I delete these messages? So they did the phone check. The messages were still there. So I'm just like, oh shit. Like once they had done called me to the bubble, basically, they had done called me. They let everybody go back to their rooms. They released phones, and I'm just like, damn, I ain't get my phone back. Child, they done called me up there, and they basically like questioning me about the messages. Like, so you been drinking? Why is there messages in there saying they enjoyed you? Why are you having people pull up to your job to meet you, family or not? Why is people coming up to your job? So I'm like, oh shit, I'm busted. Like, what am I finna do? I lied to the bus stop. I don't know what that was about. My cousin did come up there or whatever because she was in town, but she just stopped to the wing stop. I couldn't stop her from pulling up. You know what I'm saying? She came up there and got something to eat. Now, how the fuck I'm finna get out of this shit with the dude about the liquor? So I just said, I don't know what he's talking about, basically. Like, he lying. I ain't never had no liquor. I ain't drink. So they kept saying, if we give you an alcohol test right now, you gonna pass it. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm a pass. Like, I was for sure like, I'm a pass. Child, the lady just kept saying, I don't believe you. You're lying. You're lying. You finna get sent back. Tell me the truth. So I'm still lying or whatever. But then once I kind of like figured that she was gonna send me back anyways, I wasn't finna tell on myself. I wasn't finna tell the truth. So I just stayed lying, and I was just like, listen, ma'am, I did not have anything to drink. I don't know what that text message was about, but I didn't have anything to drink. And they didn't even fucking drug test. I mean, not drug test me. They didn't even alcohol test me. I was so mad because I just wanted them to alcohol test me, because I knew like the shit was out of my system by then. I didn't even have that much, so I knew it wasn't gonna come up. Child, the lady done called DOC. She like, first she act like she was gonna give me a chance. She told me to go back in my room or whatever. I wasn't getting my phone back. So she kept my phone for 2 days or whatever, and I'm thinking I'm safe, y'all. Child, after them 2 days, she had done told me, hey, call me to the office. I hate this for you. I'm so disappointed. I thought you was gonna make it. I'm gonna have to call DOC, and you gonna have to pack your stuff, and you finna have to go back to prison. Y'all, I literally was begging this lady. I'm crying like, please don't do this. I'm too close to the finish line. Like, it's December. I get out in February. Baby, DOC was on the way to come pick me up. Part 19 of Surviving Prison. So if you're keeping up, then you know on part 18 I left y'all off with letting y'all know that I got sent back from work release. I know. Y'all disappointed? I was disappointed too. So I got sent back from work release because they took my phone. Well, they took everybody's phone, and they went through our messages and stuff. And I had a message from someone letting them know, like, well, letting me know that he was like, he had a good time and we was drinking or whatever. It was the day after Christmas. Everybody know that's against the rules. So I was sent back. DOC came to pick me up later on that night. I ended up having to go to a prison that was closer to the work release center, so I did not go back to Gaston, which they call the cupcake camp. I didn't go back to the private prison. I end up going back to a DOC prison, which is Hernando, and they tried to make it seem like that prison was a faith-based prison. It was not. I ain't gonna say it was not. I mean, it was kind of like any other prison, like, with the chapel and you go to church and stuff like that. But they made it seem like it was strictly faith based. It wasn't. It was actually harder than the prison that I was at. And I'm saying that because to me, I felt like they were very racist there. Like in that little country town that they were in, they were very, very racist. And I just felt like they didn't like black people. Not to mention, I feel like because I did fraud, and I feel like I'm not going to say that people that do fraud shouldn't go to prison because you got to take accountability for your actions. I will say maybe they should put people in like in programs or something like that, because I feel like if you did fraud or something minor or white collar crime or something like that, you should be put with killers and rapists and stuff like that. Like, we shouldn't be in the same facility. So at this particular prison, like, they had all types of people there that did all kinds of things. Literally, I was in a dorm with a girl that stabbed her 6-year-old. She stabbed her 6-year-old 12 times. And by the grace of God, the little girl survived and she was able to get on the stand and talk and tell what happened to her. And the girl ended up getting like 23 years or something like that for a manslaughter or something like that. I can't really remember, but she was at Lowell. But when your time get under 15 years, so the prison that I was at, once your time is 15 years and under, you're eligible to be at a different prison. So she was there. But like I told y'all, I had my sister look up a lot of people. She lied and said that she was in there for something else, like driving while under the influence and something happened or something. I don't know. But anyways, I ended up getting her name because I actually kind of got liked her or whatever. Like, she was cool. She was very spiritual. Like, she was into her word a lot, I would say. And people do change or whatever, but, and I'm not here to judge nobody, but it just seemed like for a crime like that, I don't know. I don't know. I know God forgives and ain't no sin bigger than the next sin, but that was just a bit much for me. So I, was not getting close to her because I didn't have much time left anyways, but I wasn't getting closer to her. But it was just like, okay, I kind of like her. Like, she was, kind of like, talking to me every day, and her bunk was by mine. So I got her name and her DC number, and I had my sister look her up. And when my sister told me what she was in there for, and she was like, oh, it was big in the, I think she was in Orlando or something like that. That case was big. I was like, oh no. And I know I probably had no room to judge nobody, but I was like, oh no. I don't want to talk to her. I don't have no conversations for her no more. I mean, then you had somebody in there that they allowed their boyfriend. I ain't gonna say allowed because maybe, people be in abusive relationships all the time. So maybe she was in an abusive relationship or whatever with the guy, but her boyfriend basically killed her infant child, and she buried the child. Like, she buried the little girl in their backyard. Like, it was some crazy stuff in there. Like, I'm not making this up. And it was just like, oh my God, like, why would they put me at this kind of prison with these kind of people? I don't deserve this. So moving backwards a little bit. So once I got sent back or whatever, I did have to go to DR here the next day. Which, they wrote me up or whatever for quote unquote drinking or whatever. So that did take 20 days from me. So now, it actually took a little more than that because they said I was supposed to get 20 days taken, but I didn't get my game time for 2 months. So when I got sent back, it was like December 28th. I was supposed to get out February 6th. It had on paper, it pushed my date back into like April or something like that. So of course I'm really upset. Now, y'all, I didn't tell my mama when I first left. She didn't know I was leaving or whatever because I was too embarrassed. I was just like, I'm so tired of disappointing this lady. I know she about sick of me. Like, I don't know. I don't want to tell her. So I waited like 3 days while I was there. And when I called her, at first she didn't answer. So I called her back later on that night. And she answered, and I can hear it in her voice. Like, she was just so upset and disappointed. And she was like, yeah, Cierra. And I was just like, hey, Mom, they sent me back to prison. She was like, I know. What's up? So I'm just like, damn, like, why she talking to me like this? My mama was just so disappointed because she just like, Cierra, all I just want you to do is do better. Get your shit together. Like, you've been down there for all this long time and you still doing the same shit. Like, you still making the same mistakes. At this point, it's no longer mistakes. Like, You just need to get your shit together. Take accountability for your actions and get your shit together. And when I tell y'all, it stuck with me like, oh my God, like, once my mama give up on me, who I'm gonna have? Like, I gotta make a change. So I decided that I wasn't gonna call my mama. I told her, yes, ma'am, I understand, blah, blah, blah. But I decided that I was gonna give my mama a break. I didn't want to call home for a while because I know she was upset with me, and I just want to get my shit together. Like, I needed to, get me right. So I didn't call home for about a good week and a half or whatever until I felt like I was in a better space. So now I gotta go back to work call. So now once I'm on a call out for work call and go get my job, y'all know where they put me in. Y'all know where they put me at. And I'm saying this to say, y'all know they put me in the kitchen, right? As much as I hated the kitchen, I'm just going to say this. God do everything for a reason. First of all, I love cooking. But it's just the way I was treated in this environment, in these prisons, to it made me hate the kitchen. But God did exactly what he was supposed to do. He kept putting me in that kitchen because that's my destiny. Like, I'm supposed to be cooking. I'm supposed to be in the kitchen. Y'all not following me. Pause on the story real quick. And I'm saying this because I'm a merchant seaman. And as a merchant seaman, I cook on the ships. Had I not went to prison, y'all, I would have never chose this type of job, this type of career. Working on a ship, I would have never chose that. When I was in prison, at my last month of prison, I decided that I wanted a great career. I'm used to making really a lot of money on the outside, which when I was doing fraud. So I was like, I want to do something that's going to make me a lot of money, and it's legit, and it's something that I love doing. And so when I was told about like the merchant seamen and stuff, and they was like, oh, people cook on the ships and stuff, and I was like, whole time, y'all, God was preparing me for this. Like, that's why he kept putting me in the kitchen. That's why I couldn't get out the kitchen. No matter how much I tried, I couldn't get out the kitchen because I'm supposed to be in the kitchen. Stay tuned for part 20. I'm finna tell y'all. Part 20 of Surviving Prison. So y'all know I'm at the new prison or whatever. And like I said, God was doing everything for a reason at that moment. I didn't understand, that God was doing it for me for those reasons. But all I knew is I keep getting stuck in the fucking kitchen, and I don't like the kitchen. I don't want to be in the kitchen. So me being like in a rush and being disobedient and not really like sitting down listening to God, what he had for me, I was trying to get out the kitchen ASAP. Like, soon as I knew that I was getting put in the kitchen, I was filling out a job change form. I was just like, I'm not doing this. Like, I'm not doing this again. You don't get moved immediately. So I was still in the kitchen for about, I want to say, a good couple weeks, like maybe 3 weeks. I was in the kitchen still. Oh my God. The worst 3 weeks. Like, I was going through it. My first day in the kitchen, I get into it with the food director lady. She asked me to put the trays up, the food trays up or whatever. And I did. Once they came out of the dishwasher, we run them through the little thing or whatever, and I put them up. Child, she comes back there, and she was real particular on how she liked the things in the kitchen or whatever. Mind you, this is a different prison, so everything ain't ran the same. I'm not knowing this. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing what I, normally do at the other kitchen. So I put them up or whatever. She comes in there and she checks behind you. That's just what she did. She checks behind everything. So, and mind y'all, they didn't steal at this kitchen. Like, this was a faith-based compound, and they did not steal. And plus, it wasn't nothing really to steal out of there because this particular prison didn't have microwaves. Now, the prison I was at before, we had microwaves, so that's how we cooked our food and stuff. Ain't no microwaves at this prison. This was a real prison. So she comes and check or whatever to see if I had took the trays out, put the trays back up. I did. So she said, why are these trays so wet? I'm looking like, they just came out of the dishwasher. She literally took every tray out of the cubby hole and slung them on the floor. Me, I'm just looking at her like, who finna pick them up? Because I know you ain't just throw all those trays on the floor. So she say, now get them up and get them washed again and put them back. I looked at this lady. I'm still standing there like, who? And I'm looking at the other girl like, she talking to you? Because she ain't talking to me. I'm already mad because I got to come back in this kitchen anyways, and I'm back in prison. I know she ain't talking to me. So she like, why are you still standing there? Why haven't you moved yet? Because I'm like, First of all, don't talk to me like that. I'm a human just like you are. And second of all, I'm not picking nothing off the floor that you done threw on the floor. Like, you could have asked me nicely to get the trays and dry them or whatever you wanted me to do, but you just decided to throw them on the floor? Baby girl, we ain't doing that. So she like, well, who are you talking to in that manner? Matter of fact, and so she started calling the officer or whatever, telling the officer I disrespected her or whatever. So here we go, the officer telling me to turn around and cuff up. So I'm like, cuff up for what? They like, oh, you're being disrespectful, you're talking back. And they was just like, they did the most at this prison. So I'm just like, I'm literally like, what did I do? Like, this lady just threw these trays at me on the floor and y'all telling me to cuff up? I can't really remember what they call the people or whatever that you have to go see and talk to in the offices and stuff. Not the warden or nothing like that, but the lieutenant and stuff like that. So basically they like, oh, tell that to the lieutenant. Like, you're getting cuffed up. Go tell that to the lieutenant. So I'm just like, oh my God, like I'm crying, y'all, because I'm just like, I'm finna go to law because this lady done threw these trays at me and want me to pick them up, and I'm finna go to law because I wouldn't pick them up. But this is the price that I had to pay because ain't no way that, oh, my lashes look bad, y'all. Don't talk about my lashes. I'm getting a fill-in Tuesday. Oh, but anyways, this is the price that I had to pay because I shouldn't have went back to prison. I should have not done the things that I was doing at work release to get sent back to prison. So I go in there and I tell the lieutenant, like, hey, this is what happened or whatever. They said that they had to get witness statements and they had to get I think it was a camera in there, so they had to get the footage from the camera and stuff like that because the lady wrote me up on the DR, the food lady wrote me up on the DR and basically was lying, saying I was yelling at her, I disrespected her. She told me to do something and I didn't do it. Yeah, you did tell me to pick up them trays and I wasn't picking up the trays, but she never mentioned that she threw the trays down on the floor. Y'all, when I tell y'all I knew God was on my side because I'm like, God can't put me, like, I didn't, you know what I'm saying, do the things that this lady was telling me, saying that I did on this DR. You know that didn't happen, God, please. So the lady was, the lieutenant said, she had kept me in there for about 4 hours. She was like, until they finished the investigation, she wasn't going to put me in lock, but she was going to put me in lock if they found out that I was lying. So I'm just like, Lord, please, like, you got to be on my side because you know the truth. Like, I didn't disrespect this lady. Y'all, 4 hours had done passed. They came back. They took the cuffs off me and she said, we reviewed the cameras. We're not going to lock you up or whatever. We're going to dismiss the DR, throw it out. And when I tell y'all, that's when I knew God was real. I was like, oh my God, like, God is real. Like, I always been a believer and I always had big faith. Like, I've always had a great relationship with God up until, I did get sent in prison and I just kind of lost my faith. But, I gained it back, so I told y'all. But it was just like, every time I turned around, he was sending tests at me. And it was just like, he was telling me, like, you should have never got your ass in trouble. You should have never been drinking, and your ass would have been still on a free world in work release doing the things that you was doing. But now you back at prison because you was drinking, and now these are the things that you have to go through. So y'all, after that, I didn't even want to go back in the kitchen. I'm just like, now I'm a target. This lady finna be trying me all the time, especially now that she wanted me to go to jail, which is, we call jail lock. She wanted me to go to jail, and I didn't go to jail because you was lying. So I'm just like, I don't know what I got to do, but I'm trying to do whatever I got to do to get out this kitchen because I already know I'm going to end up going to lock. And I can't go to lock because I'm going to end up losing more days. I've already lost 20 days. And if I lose more days, like, my days just going to keep getting pushed back. And I'm not going to be able to go home. Like, I just want to go home. I don't have much time left. By the grace of God, my work change form got pulled. So now I'm getting out the kitchen. I felt like I got out the kitchen just to get a worse job. Like, I got put in inside grounds. Inside grounds is where you're outside, whether it's snowing, whether it's raining, whether it's cold, whether it's hot. You're outside picking up trash, raking, walking around with a bucket. Like, it was just, Lord, y'all. When I tell y'all, this was the worst prison. Like, this prison, they treated you like shit there. Mind y'all, it was like a little old prison too. So everything in the dorms was old, rusty. The lights, in the prison, the lights never go off. You sleep with the lights on. You might as well, if you can't sleep with the lights on in your face, baby, you might as well. I used to tie my face up with a t-shirt and like sleep under my put my blanket over my face, because that you never get no good sleep. Like, the lights are always on. Just how my light on right now, this how the lights always on and stay on. That's crazy, right? But that prison was so old and moldy. Like, they should have been shut that place down. It was inhumane. And might I add, while I was in prison, one time I was in the kitchen and they had told me to go get some ground beef out the freezer. Y'all, I'm not kidding you. When I got the ground beef out the freezer, guess what it said on the label? It wasn't even ground beef. It says ground something else. But it says not for human consumption. Not for human consumption? So y'all feeding us something that says not for human consumption? Are you serious? I'm not making this up, y'all.